Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. If you're a newbie or even a returning visitor, I just want to acknowledge you both forms and say thank you very much for being part of my journey and remind you in advance that you are invited and appreciated when you make comments on the channel beneath the content that I load. And this is because it helps us all to grow and to learn. And I'm open to all comments, even ones that might disagree, because I believe that this is how we all grow. And even if we don't end up finding a mutual agreement, the reality is that whatever the comments are, they offer an opportunity for reflection and to either solidify or change our beliefs, which I consider to be a positive thing. And worst case scenario, if we don't reach an agreement, then we can just, if I can speak today, respectfully disagree and go our different paths. And to me, that's what life is about as well. We don't all have to agree with each other. Variety is the spice of life. Now, anyway, a little bit about me for the newbies. I share the content that I do on the channel because I feel it's part of my humanitarian commitment. I have been studying energy for years, and I have drawn upon my experience delivering metaphysical services, be they psychic or healing type services. And also my journey into the metaphysical is what prompted and promoted my desire to get university degrees. I'm a qualified social worker. I've got a Bachelor of Social Work, and I am an undergrad in a Masters of Counselling. And so I try and incorporate a lot of my learned knowledge, shall we say, the book knowledge, with experiential wisdom as well. And I like to share it with people as part of empowering them. I've got this underpinning ethos of empowerment. And the other thing too is I do offer paid services, but not right now if people are asking. And this is because I'm so focused on getting the content out here to the mainstream public that I just really don't have enough time in my days to deliver the paid services. But I do have a website up, and I will eventually get back into doing the paid services for those that are interested, and as a response to questions I've been asked. Also, don't forget I've got a Facebook page. I don't go onto Facebook very often, only to load the content as part of getting information out to the public. There's a part of me that wants to go back in, and I consider it to be a charity thing where I give a complimentary reading to select individuals as I feel drawn to. Now, I'm not drawn to deliver readings at the moment. This is the problem for me right now. I'm focused on doing the YouTube content, but I just wanted to put that out there before we crack on to today's video, which of course we're talking about the color pink. And I'm going to be giving you a little bit more information than you might not see on the internet, because we're stepping into some chakras that I really love and am passionate about. And in fact, the colors that I'm passionate about, which is fairly interesting, I think, but we're not going to go into that now. I'll just get straight on with the video. So in the first instance, based on the rationale that I've provided through my other videos, if you've managed to see them, I talk about how the colours carry certain properties within them. And it's generally through association with the chakras and the chakra body. Within the context of pink, though, there's a little difference here. And you may be observant enough, if you've actually seen some of the other videos, to realise that I've made a change on this diagram for today. And I'll explain why in a moment. But the bottom line is, when we talk about pink, it is actually a mix of the primary colour red and white. So it comes up with various shades of pink. Now, when you talk about the colours of red, you're talking about base survival issues, issues as in attributes, perhaps. Just depends on how you're approaching it. I'm trying not to laugh here. I'm not being very clear. Okay, so the red is about our base survival needs. It's about our sense of power, our willpower, our desire to control what's going on around us to create a healthy and safe environment for us, because obviously to be able to grow and focus on our personal growth and to be a powerful person, we have to be able to have some kind of control over ourselves, if not the environment that we live. Big difference. We don't have control over other people. We can control the environment. Like if it's raining, we can put a hardier roof on it, instead of sitting there in the rain, for example. Okay. But the thing is, when we are talking about the color white, of course, this is purification of intent and purification of the mind, body, and spirit. So we've got some really good qualities coming through with the red and the white. But when we talk about the color pink, I'm hoping that you've actually noticed on this image here that I have made the heart chakra pink, because I keep seeing everywhere, and I think this is a reflection of perhaps generations and new approaches where people are putting the focus on the heart chakra and saying that it's emerald green. Well, it is, but it's not just emerald green. It is a mix of emerald green and the pink. Okay, so the pink that we see here, and they both carry different attributes. The emerald green is about loving others. So, to put this into perspective, when we talk about the balance of giving and receiving love, we can give love, and that's associated with emerald green. That's associated with forgiving other people that may have hurt us and this kind of thing. When we talk about the heart chakra and the pink, this is the capacity to be able to receive love, which actually we need to be able to do before we can give it. Okay, we have to understand what love feels like, and generally speaking, this is why we say love starts with self. And this is not in an inflated, egotistical way. This is about being able to extend the compassion, kindness, and care to ourselves that we would to other people, and believing that we're worthwhile. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment, but basically, the pink is heart chakra stuff. So, when we talk about self love, as I said before, we're not talking about, I'm amazing, fabulous, look at me, I'm so wonderful. We're not talking about that kind of love, because that is ego. What we're talking about is a humble love, a humble care. I mean, love is a multi-layered word anyway. But if we're talking, let's start with self-forgiveness, okay? Self-forgiveness is this capacity to be able to look at what we've done in the past and realize, actually, what I did was not the best there. I'm not comfortable or happy with what I did. I could have chosen other pathways, and I recognize that now. But at the time, you acted in a way that you now have some guilt about. Okay, the guilt is because you're being harsh, you're judging yourself. And so it's about releasing that guilt in a positive way, whereby if you did hurt somebody else, ideally, you will be able to go to that person and apologize sincerely, and then whether they forgive you or not, that's going to be at their decision or discretion. And sometimes you actually can't approach that person. So it's being aware and recognizing, we weren't the person we wanted to be, but at the end of the day, we are the person that we are, and we're growing and evolving at all times. And I'm not going to go too far into this right now, because this is a whole video we could probably do on self-forgiveness. So there becomes that release there of recognizing, understanding, and forgiving yourself for being imperfect, right? We're all imperfect in some way. None of us are actually perfect human beings. We're all perfectly divine beings at a spirit or soul level. But when it comes to our human pathway, we're all learning, and we all trip and fall, and we all make mistakes. And it's about releasing judgment of ourselves and having that acceptance that I am what I am, and I am a growing person, and I am shifting towards my divine path and being a perfect human being in divine mind or whatever. There's things like that. But the other side of this too is that when we're loving of self, we actually take care of ourselves. We respect ourselves. We respect that our body is the vessel that carries our soul, and we seek to take care of it and to nurture it. And that means giving it the correct nourishment. It can start with food. It can start with kindness, being kind to ourselves, being compassionate. So often, and I'll put my hand up to this as well, we will, hopefully I've made some progress through this, I might add. It's so much easier to forgive other people for what they might have done to us that we consider to be harmful. But so often it's harder to forgive ourselves. And so often we expect more of ourselves than we expect of other people. And so we judge ourselves very harshly as well. These all form a number of problems for us on a physical level, because what we think and feel, we tend to manifest. So if we're judging ourselves harshly, we're not being kind to ourselves. I hope this makes sense. I think I will just say that when I talk about encouraging people to activate their heart chakra and to tap into heart chakra energy, I generally don't at any time actually say one or the other. I always say the unconditional giving and receiving of love. And you could swap that around if you felt so inclined into the unconditional receiving and giving of love, and divine love, because there has to be a balance anyway. So if we've got a balanced heart chakra, and we were focused purely on the green, we would probably be neglecting the aspects of self-care and self-love that we need. Self-respect might be a whole different video as well. That would be worth talking about, actually. What does self-respect mean? What does it mean to you? Perhaps you can put a comment up. So, when we're talking about the heart chakra, an imbalance in the giving and receiving of love can result in heart, lung, and chest conditions. Now, sometimes problems can occur because the ability to give or receive love is impeded. And this can include, obviously, I give examples for consideration, being in an intimate partner relationship, perhaps where one party is really so self absorbed, they're not emotionally responsive, or they refuse to let the other person show their love and care for them in ways that they find meaningful. So, to give an example of this, let's say, and I've obviously got videos up on the language of love and hopefully to help people understand this process. So, if we talk about an example, let's say that we've got somebody who is very tactile and they feel loved when somebody that they love, their intimate partner, perhaps walks past them and will reach out and stroke their arm, stroke their back, perhaps push, the hair off the face or whatever, just random spontaneous touching. They're very tactile and that's how they feel love. And so let's call this person A. So let's say person A, because that's how they feel loved, that's how they demonstrate love. And so with their partner might not be tactile and they might not show them in tactile ways that they're loved. So person B basically can be perceived by person A to be unloving towards them. And then they have to rationalize in their brain that the person does love them because they're married and committed and all the rest of it. And they just don't feel loved. That's the thing for them. They don't feel loved because they're not being shown love in the ways that have meaning and value to them. But then it goes a step further, okay? And it might be because this person A is tactile and that's how they feel love. That's also how they show love. So they then go to their partner and they try and show love by reaching out, stroking, touching, or whatever, and find their hand being pushed back because they are perceived by their partner to be a bit on the clingy side. They can find that a bit uncomfortable themselves. And this is because they're not speaking the same language of love. Now, when person B pushes that person's hand away, the person can start to feel not only unloved, but rejected and unlovable. Okay, so this creates a whole heap of problems in the heart chakra area based on perception. Now, logically speaking, a lot of the time when we have these incompatibilities, it is not because there is a lack of love. This is about beliefs and misinterpretations and expectations of what a person should or shouldn't do when there's love involved. And if this person were you, let's say you're the tactile person that wants to be touched and stroked and wants to be able to reach out and touch and stroke your partner, the reality is you probably know deep down, and certainly I've worked with enough married people to understand this is not a rare occurrence, shall we say. And they know, if you ask them, you say, but you're telling me that you don't feel loved, and yet you say you are, right? And they say, yes, I do know. They know that they're loved. There is love in the relationship and they recognize it, they're aware of it, but they don't feel it, okay? Now, they can tell themselves as much as they like, yes, that person loves me, okay? They can say it, I know that I'm loved. I just don't feel loved, right? And they will potentially even turn around and say things like, I know it's irrational. I know that they love me. I just don't feel it, okay? So it's in these situations that the colour pink is beneficial, okay? Because what the pink will do is help to really know in the heart level, instead of having that I know, but I don't feel it. It becomes I know and I understand and I respect that person is showing me love in ways that are meaningful to them. Because if you explore the languages of love, you'll be able to certainly remind yourself and see that, yes, that person is being loving by their measure. And at the same time, by the way, it does become an area for negotiation and discussion with each party with open communication. But anyway, by drawing upon the colour of pink, it's going to help to heal any of the heart issues that have become manifest. Ideally, I've got to be careful I don't make claims here. Ideally, metaphysical and energy workers will say that if a person is suffering from any heart and lung conditions or any other conditions of ill health or disease in the not solar plexus, in the heart chakra area, they will benefit from the colour pink, and that this colour of pink will bring a sense of tranquility with it, and it will help to dissolve any of these unsubstantiated emotions that are blocking full health, if that makes sense to you. I hope so. So I would like to think that the message of the colour pink is really pretty clear, but I'm going to break it down anyway. If I was working with a person that was either drawn to or repelled by the colour pink, I would be asking them a few prompting and leading questions about what's going on. This is if I was in a mental health setting, okay? What's going on in regards to their image of self, And I'm going to use a prime example because I think it's a good one, although this video is getting long and I'm telling a few stories today. But anyway, I was on Facebook and I love to do readings and psychic readings on people that I've never met and I know nothing about. And it's also part of my charity service where I give freebies to people as I feel drawn. But either way, this lady had messaged me and she was asking for a psychic reading, which I declined to her. I said, look, sorry, I'm too busy. And she came back with a comment very quickly saying, look, I'm not after predictions. I just want some understanding and to get some clarity. Now, quick as a flash, goodness me, I wasn't even open to doing readings, but this conversation has stuck with me, although I can't remember the lady's name and I wouldn't tell you if I could, right? I've sent back a message to her saying, with a smiley face, as you do, look, listen, I don't even need to know anything about you, right? Or open up my energy fields to do a reading for you to know that you battle significantly with self-image and that you experience low self-esteem and that you probably question yourself all the time about what you do and why you do it. And in between times, you're beating yourself up for failing to meet your own expectations, and to let you know that it's time to be kind to yourself and treat yourself with the same compassion and care as you would give to others. Now, what she did was she responded with that wide open mouth like, oh my God, and how did you know? And I said, it's really very easy. I checked your profile photo. You're wearing a pink top and everything about you suggests that you are sweet and kind, and probably too kind for your own good, I think, right? Now, where I sit today, I still believe that this is the core message of the pink, is that the people are beautiful and kind, and they tend to put other people before themselves, to the point that they neglect their own welfare and well-being. Now, the only other thing I would add to this is that if a person is repelled by the colour pink, then I would suggest asking questions and explore, has this lack of self-love and self-regard gone as far as being a case of potentially self-loathing? So that's just some considerations for you and some questions to ask yourself. So moving right along and picking up some speed, because this has become a very long video. So I don't know if I should apologise or just say, hope it works for you, hope you're interested. Do write a comment up. But basically the benefits of the pink is, of course, when we're more peaceful within ourselves, when we're more tolerant and kind towards ourselves, we tend to be able to sleep easier. So the benefit of pink, of course, is it helps with sleep, it helps to treat insomnia, and it is through the dream state that we are better able to manifest by having healthy sleep. So draw upon pink to improve your sleeping. So moving So without waffling too much, I'm going to get straight into it and talk about this activity. Before we can actually give love, there's this old saying that, we need to fill the cup before we start emptying it out. We also actually need to purify the water that's in the cup, I believe, otherwise we're just pouring out dirty water. But the idea is we receive love first, and we would use a very delicate pale pink to expand our capacity to receive. I've tried to portray this with the image of the rose here. Now, what you would do is basically affirm that you are open to receiving unconditional divine love, and to open your heart and mind to unconditional self-love. Okay? That's going to be a big one potentially for people that are not used to doing it. It takes some effort. And just to be clear, I say give and then receive for some reason. And that's kind of embedded in my psyche as to how I work with my chakra. I choose to be open to the giving and receiving of unconditional love, including self-love. But for the purposes of this activity here, I'm just giving you an example. Do whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable to you. The aim is that basically you go into the meditative state, you focus on the sacred breath, and as you're breathing, you're letting go of any hardness and rigidity in your body. You visualize that you're holding a beautiful pink rose, pale pink rose like this one here, and see yourself. You've got to bring your senses into this. See yourself inhaling the sweet scent, with this sacred breath into your heart, and that you receive this gentleness and delicacy of the flower into your sense of being. Then as you do that, then you imagine this beautiful pink light pulsing from the flower and into your heart, and that it fills your heart with this unconditional self-love. Well, love in general, okay? Adapt this to whatever feels right for you. Always follow your own guidance. But anyway, did I say guidance or godness? Similar, same, much the same. Moving on to the next slide. So the second part of the activity is obviously the first part. You see your own heart chakra filling with this beautiful, delicate pink color, right? Once you have got your heart chakra filled, you now think of somebody in your mind that you love, and you visualize the love that you now have in your heart, that some of it filters from your heart into their heart chakra, and you enjoy this feeling of love and connection. Now, as you do it, you do the affirmation here: divine intelligence and love, pour your healing light into my heart, purifying it, softening it, rejuvenating it, and filling it with love and enthusiasm for life. Now, I would add to this also that upon completion of the activity, that you would potentially cut cords, if you like, which is doing a ground and center. Anytime you do a healing visualization activity, it is you've got to clear and cut cords, ground center. I'll go into the cord cutting. Have I got an activity, a video up for that? Look, there's variations to that. Once again, I say follow your own guidance with this. Okay, it's a suggestion I make, but when it comes to cord cutting, sometimes it's appropriate and sometimes it's not, and this is why you need to follow your own guidance. Bit of a cop out there on my part, but hey, I'm here to help you foster your divine connection. I can't do the path for you. You've got to walk it yourself and find out through your own experiences. So once again, my friends, that's it for another day. We have done another video. We've talked about another colour. I hope you enjoy the information that I've given you about pink, and I hope that you have some fun playing with the colour. Don't forget, you're not restricted. If you want to draw on the healing properties of a colour, it doesn't have to be visualization. It can actually be through wearing or holding fabric, or even by using crystals such as the rose quartz. So just some different suggestions there. For now, though, of course, I'm going to say thank you very much for being part of my journey. Again, love you, leave you, catch you on the next video. Bye-bye for now. Take care.